We got some volume in the headphones now.
Absolutely, I can hear you even better than when I'm in the room with you, man.
Yeah, even better than your own ears.
I mean, you've got a rich voice acoustically, let alone electroacoustically.
I apologise at the beginning of the show because it's a bit nasal today.
Actually, have you got a little something?
I've got a little. I've had a big old something. Never mind a little something.
No, this gooseneck is. I don't care if I'm out of shot. I don't care where I end up. I'm going to go out in the corridor with this microphone.
You're fine because there's sort of a fisheye type or a widescreen type thing.
Yeah, I'm not worried about the fisheye. I'm worried about your mouth.
Oh, you're worried about my germs.
Yes.
I see. I thought you just wanted eye contact with me.
I always want eye contact with you, but whether I'm in a room with you or not is irrelevant.
I should probably introduce you.
You probably should. Actually.
1 minute I was just playing a song, it's just me on my own. Next minute
I'm in the studio. I've got a flirt. Flirt.
For those who don't know, this is my very, very good friend Marty J. Stevens.
Hello, everyone.
Who is? I mean, he's an amazing musician.
Thanks, man. Dude, we're going there straight away.
I'd say you're a bit of a producer in your own right. You have those skills.
I've got a laptop and an iMac, so. You know,
and you do a lot of recording.
I do recording.
You know more about engineering than I do. That's for sure.
Oh, dude, killing me. But yes, I'm all about the bass playing, all about making music
all about the bass
slightly better than it is in the real world, which is what production's all about, isn't it? So
exactly. But yeah, anyone who does follow the show will have heard me drop your name because obviously we all played together.
We all played together, mate. I was going to bring that up, man, because I'm always tuned into the show, man. So I'm always every time you go, I did a gig with Live Music. I'm like, that was me. And the guys, obviously us. I should say us.
Oh yeah, of course.
But yeah, that was Chris. Honestly, I can't tell you, man. It's easy to say that was a fun gig, but seriously, that was awesome. Yeah, that gig was awesome. Like by any standards, any genre, it was so much fun.
I'm really glad to say that because it's like as a rapper, you've got to always check yourself and make sure you're not being too self-indulgent.
Oh, well,
because it's like you kind of get up there and you do your thing, and obviously like we had a sick time.
We had a really good time, mate. Yeah, man. Ollie pulled some punk rock shit as well, didn't he?
He jumped
on the drum kit, man, and he jumps off this drum kit, and I'm thinking, yeah, that looked cool, but now my bass is out of tune, and I had to catch a cymbal and a microphone. It was mad.
He doesn't really. He throws caution to the wind when he's in the zone.
Oh, is that new? That's news to me.
yeah, there's a whole nother side to it.
But no, seriously, that set was really good because I'm sure everyone listening has come to a bunch of Soul Purpose gigs where it's you guys and everyone on the mic getting up, and it's always so high energy, and I just think, do you know what? A show where I'm plucking at bass strings with that in front of me was going to be good, and it just was.
Wicked.
And it was so good.
I'm so glad.
Best Wednesday for a long time.
Best Wednesday.
Very least, mate. Oh.
It was a lit Wednesday.
It was a lit Wednesday.
But that's the thing, because it's like, it's all. I wonder how it was going to be from your guys' perspective, because it's like you know, sort of towards the back of the stage, and it's like I wanted to make sure everyone's involved.
It was good, man. I mean, I wasn't worried about you guys, man, because there are a couple of horror stories, when you collaborate and it's the first time.
Of course. And
you just think, oh no, okay, because it can be tempting sometimes for a rap artist to say, sound like the beat. And at the end of the day, this is a drum set.
Exactly.
And it's in the room right now, and we can't do that delay shit you've got on your track, right?
No, exactly.
So, but you guys were just like, okay, you just put your faith in us and said, okay, I listened to the tracks enough to say, okay, this is where we meet halfway, and then we all get in that room together, man, and we achieved so much in the short amount of hours that we actually spent.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy. because we did. What do we have? Two rehearsals
face
to face.
So the ratio was like.
Firstly, got to give props to you. Got to props to you because you did so much of the work before we all even met up.
Whether that's a good thing or not, I definitely knackered a biro.
Yeah, you literally this guy wrote out all the songs,
charted it
all up. On manuscript and sent it round and made sure everyone. So by the first time we met up, the rest of the guys they're already halfway there.
Yeah, man, that head start was pretty key. I mean, that probably saved us a couple hours work in the end. Only about a couple hours work, but the ratio was, what was our set, like 45 minutes? So
something like that, yeah.
We did about 6.5, 7 hours of rehearsals for 45 minutes of music that went down so well. So that's a really good return, I think.
That is another thing. The reception was spot
it was
on.
Great, man.
People really enjoyed it, and the guys who shout out to Emerald Live for putting us on, those guys, they're still hitting me up like, we can't get over how great really that show was.
I really enjoyed it. We were sat there talking. Obviously they knew you guys really well, and they didn't know us three really well, because we're not on your posters.
Sure.
and they just looked at me and said, "Are you the not drummer?"
Yeah. Exactly.
From our humour.
Pre-show humour. Yeah, exactly. No, we went in with the promo as well because we did. I think that video was used in there. We did like a takeover of their Snapchat and stuff as well. So people got to know before they got to know.
Fantastic.
But the reason you're here today is not only, in fact, I'm really glad that you turned up as early as you have, because I've got some nice tracks and I'd really like to get your input and your feedback on a lot of them.
Okay.
But the main reason you're here is to help promote another project that you're involved in.
Well, I'm here to talk to you, and my colleague from this band is going to come down today, and you've been talking about getting the jazz vibes out. We want to talk about Project Karnak today. Project Karnak is a band that I have joined. It's the brainchild of Sam, who's coming down, and Dominic Canning, who is an absolute hero, mate. He's a beast. Yeah. These guys, they got together, they're a duo, they make this jazz fusion music, and myself and Alex Blake, we've had the pleasure of joining up with them this summer, and we've had some gigs already, and honestly, that project is eye-opening. It really is. It is. Honestly, no. They're all so young as well. It's so scary.
How old are they?
They're all like 20, and I'm 20, and they oh my goodness. They make me, you know when you get them ones, you probably got this by now, where you think, I wasted uni, man. Yeah. You just think, what did I do? What did I do with that time?
Well, you always think, I mean, when I was there, I was thinking, I want to enjoy myself. I want to make the most of this, but yeah, looking back now, it's like I should have. There's certain things I should have got more involved in, or it's Definitely. Like things. I don't know. Hindsight is obviously always 20/20, but it's like you think if any time I like start doing something or get involved in something that I'm really proud of, or think, oh, this is a really good place for me to be. I just think, why didn't I know about this sooner? Like if I'd have just stumbled across this 2 years ago, imagine where I'd be now.
Exactly. I mean, you're absolutely right about hindsight being 20/20, because it's the easiest thing to think is, why didn't I just do this then?
Yeah.
But you forget what you were doing at the time, innit?
Yeah, exactly.
I did practice a bit.
Yeah.
I did. I had a band then as well, so it's okay. But seriously, man, the real reason is that the level that these guys are at as well, it brings me up as well. It makes me fight to be like in this band, and that's so much.
Well, yeah, that's the thing.
So great. I mean, when you guys go out and gig, you're fighting, right? It's a fight.
Absolutely.
When you're on that stage,
because
like,
the bar is set so high, and you can't do anything but reach that. That was me. That was you. The arm, yeah.
It sounds, obviously, I've got headphones on.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's
ghostly.
It has a ghostly quality.
But yeah, that's it. Yeah, you're kind of you have to fight your own corner, and
absolutely
you have to represent.
But no, I mean, obviously, it's great to get on a stage with these guys and play that we'll hear later on, I guess. But the kind of music that these guys have written and that I get to play on is just it's still new to me. It's still in my sphere of like jazzy, funky sort of thing. Yeah. But it's another tangent, another tentacle.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's exciting. So I'm excited to sort of play a bit of it today.
I'm very about it. I'm so excited to talk about it, and we will definitely do that a little bit later on in the show. Next up, I wanted to get into a track which I came across yesterday. I think it's fairly new. New one by King Cruel called Check One.
Nice.
Heard this one?
No.
It is really nice.
I want you to enlighten me.
Are you much of a King Cruel fan? You don't really follow his stuff?
I don't follow. I don't like to say I'm not a fan, because I probably will turn out to be.
Yeah, sure. Well, I don't know if this is like a particularly accurate representation of him, because he's very, very, very experimental. He's another young guy. I think he's like 22. Signed to XL Recordings. This is his. Well, he released. No, he's had 2 albums. He's had an EP and a debut album. And this obviously his latest single. Yeah, which I guess is going to
on with any.
Yeah, exactly. And he is, as I say, quite experimental, and he himself sort of shifts between genres and stuff. There's a lot of his album was 6 Feet Beneath the Sun, I believe it was called, which is a great listen if you haven't checked it out. But a lot of that, like loads of that, had kind of sort of like indie type rock influences in there, but very subtle. There's a song called Easy Easy, which I think you'd really, really like. And then he can just sort of cross over, do things that are a little bit more soulful and stuff like that. And this in particular, this seems to be a departure from all of that. This to me sounds a lot more kind of like James Blake influenced. It's very, very sort of nocturnal and trippy and wavy and stuff. And there's slight sort of jazzy influences in there. There's like kind of sweeping like saxophone parts that kind of pan from left to right, and it's all very dreamy and hazy.
Okay, so it takes it into that nighttime phase, right?
It absolutely does, and it's got some equally trippy visuals as well as a video for this out now.
Forgive me for not talking to you in the break then.
No, that's it. We're gonna take the cans off, enjoy,
revel in it.
Revel in it, exactly. But yeah, this is check one. Welcome back, everybody. Soul Purpose Radio. We just got out of that one, check one by King Cruel. What'd you make of that one, Marty?
Mate, it was nighttime enough for me. I'll tell you that for nothing.
It's pretty dreamy.
That was great, mate. If it wasn't for like having to go and fetch Sam, I would have fallen asleep quite happily. Yeah, it's been a long enough day, mate. That's dangerous playing that halfway through. Actually, I think you should go back to the drawing board.
We need to pick the mood up a little bit, maybe. But yeah, no, it's great, and like he's such a unique kind of artist with his vocal delivery and things like that. It's like almost, is it spoken word? Is he singing? Like can't even really tell. So another artist that I've recently discovered, been quite ignorant to until now, which maybe you've heard of. Guy called Christian Scott.
Okay.
He's like he's actually older than I thought he was going to be. Like,
thank goodness, someone who's older than.
Yeah, he's older than anyone.
We've just been bitching about how youthful these people are.
Annoying, talented young people. Yeah.
So sick of being old.
No, with this guy, I saw his NPR Tiny Desk concert.
Oh yeah, those are the one.
Those are the one,
man. It's like, let me show you how this is played.
Yeah.
From my perspective, they are fantastic.
They are literally, they are amazing, and I've discovered so many artists through there as well.
It's brilliant, mate, because they just suggest the next one, isn't it? You just go, okay, fantastic.
That's it, exactly. And I saw this guy on there, and something about him. He seemed like a sort of, he had a sort of younger spirit or whatever. But he's actually 34-year-old trumpet player from New Orleans, Louisiana.
Beautiful.
And yeah, I think he's been going quite a while. He's been active since at least 2015. But as I said, this is sort of, I've only recently got into the stuff he's doing. He's in fact, he's Grammy Award nominated, and he's been
active since 2015.
Yeah, something like that. And
I think that date might go back a little further, maybe. Possibly. Possibly. I mean, we can only speculate.
He's also won 2 Emmys. So
he's been practicing at the very least, hasn't he?
Yeah. So it's either been a really good 2 years for him.
It's been a hell of a 2 years for Christian Scott, isn't it? I hope he's listening.
Yeah.
He's just nodding like with a cigar, going, yeah,
that's right.
Watching the sun go down.
Exactly. But this is taken off of his most recent album. This one came out this year. I don't know how to pronounce it though. Diaspora, I believe.
Diaspora. I'm reading your screen at an angle, so
yeah. I mean, that's how it's spelled.
Yeah, exactly. Diaspora.
There you go.
I assume.
But yeah, this is a great album, and again, it's like, I mean, it's way more on the jazz side, but there is still, elements of fusion with other genres and things. Beatery. That's an industry term. But yeah, this is one of my favourite songs that I've heard of here, and it is called "Uncrown Her," and it's just a lovely tune.
Educate me, Karnak.
Shall we get into it?
Educate me.
Let's do it. There we have it, that one. And Crown Her by the amazing Christian Scott.
I rate it.
Loving that guy, man.
Not that he needs my seal of approval.
Well, I'm sure he's happy with it.
I mean, someone communicate to him how well things are going for him.
Yeah, we'll tweet him.
Those 2 Emmys and my approval.
Yeah.
He should quit while he's ahead.
Never mind the Grammy nomination.
Never mind that.
I mean, everyone's got one of those these days, no?
Yeah, it's getting a bit commonplace, isn't it?
a bit old news. Yeah, no, loving that one. Actually, and yeah, make sure you go check out his Tiny Desk concert. Mate,
I'm going to get you to email everything
I should be doing
to me.
Yeah. I'll tell you what.
I didn't think I was coming here to be educated,
to be schooled,
to be sat down and said, "Oi, you think you want to come here and talk about like jazzy nonsense?" All right, okay, mate.
Exactly.
Well, let me just.
Well, what we should do? People have asked me several times in the past, like, can you post the track list? And I always say yes. I always say absolutely
and
yes.
You don't do it.
We'll do that, and I've not done it once.
And you fall asleep.
Exactly.
The shows are available on demand, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so just rewind it
again. It's like I play a song and don't tell you what it is. Like.
Yeah, you play it. You said it then.
Exactly.
You present every show once, mate. You do you.
You do you, boo boo. So, do you want to be schooled some more before we
one more pure education before you get to the bottom of what this Project Karnak nonsense is.
Exactly, yeah, because I want to delve deep into that very, very soon. But this is another group that I think you would like, and these guys are a little bit lesser known than the other two that we just.
I've got no hope then, have I?
Well, no, but this is what it's all about. It's educational.
That is absolutely what
educational and entertaining. But no, this is a two-piece jazz fusion group.
Rings a bell.
Called these guys are called Project Cut. No, they're called Blue Lab Beats.
Oh well, okay, that really does ring a bell.
Okay, there we go. Are you affiliated with these guys? Maybe. You've been on the circuit.
Yeah.
Shall we? I tell you what. Let's introduce who we got on the mic before we get into this, because who are we talking to right now?
All right, I'm Sam. I'm part Project Karnak.
Yeah.
So I'm a drummer. I'm the drummer in Project Karnak.
Nice.
And the keyboard player actually in our band, Dominic, he played on their latest EP or album.
Did he?
Yeah. It's a bit mad.
Okay. The Freedom EP.
Yeah. The next one. Yeah.
Awesome.
So we're actually playing a gig with them.
Yeah.
I think 19th of September. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So what are the two guys' names? I didn't find out. Do you know what they're called?
Mad. I don't know them like proper personally, but I've jammed with them and stuff. So the names don't come like off the top.
Yeah. But they are a couple like crazy talented guys.
They're young as well.
They are super young.
Yeah.
They're younger again.
They're younger again.
They've just picked up their results today.
Yeah.
But they're just
Exactly. They're about to go get their main levels.
Yeah,
that's the stage they're
one
at.
of the guys, he can play like guitar, keys, and drums like just sick, like all like on a level.
I mean, that must be. To be that young and be that good, it must be all you've ever done. Like you must have just like given up any chance of having a life outside of.
Yeah, it's true, man. There has to be some kind of sacrifice.
Yeah. Exactly. Well, it definitely pays off with these guys. Obviously, I don't need to tell you about them, but for anyone who's not aware, I think they have kind of a little bit of a almost like Robert Glasper vibe to a lot of their stuff. I mean, loads of hip hop and R&B influences in there, and they've got this EP which features a bunch of different vocalists, different rappers and things like that. They've built up a pretty strong core following. I think this year they played Great Escape and Afropunk, both those festivals. Did really well. And they also this EP, this Freedom EP, was actually they did like a crowdfunding campaign in which they raised like £1,600 to have it released on vinyl.
Oh, that's enough to hire our Dominic. Yeah.
Exactly. And not only did they smash that target, they did it in like 28 days.
That's fantastic. So I mean, good on them. They're really. I mean, I've met one of the guys, and I think I might have met two of them. I don't know. But I mean, they're really nice guys as well, so they deserve it.
Absolutely. So the song basically I wanted to get into today is the title track of this EP, and it features yet another friend of the station, a guy who's been on before, who goes by the name Louis VI. Who's just a sick individual in his own right. So if you guys haven't heard of him, make sure you go check him out.
The education continues.
We're back there. But yeah, he's amazing. He actually, as I mentioned on a previous show, has just released a short film which is on YouTube right now and features like some new songs by him in that. They shot it in I want to say Johannesburg.
I thought you were going to say 1080p.
Yeah. They shot it in 4K.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, IMAX.
Wow, I need a bigger screen.
Exactly. No, I think, it's shot abroad. Like, as I say, I think it's Johannesburg, but you have to correct me if I'm wrong.
Beautiful.
But yeah, go check that out. Go check this project out if you haven't already. Still pretty fresh, only came out a couple months ago.
Real fresh.
It's also got the likes of Koji Radical on there as well, which is amazing. But yeah, this is a standout track for me. This is Freedom with Louis VI. On there, Freedom by Blue Lab Beats, featuring Louis VI, taken off of the EP of the very same name. It's been fun, right?
Absolutely. So far, so good. You haven't spoiled it yet, Court.
Hey, we still got just under an hour to
who knows what you might figure out in that time, mate.
Exactly. Before I do, though, maybe it's time that we address who we got in the building and get into our main guest of the evening. So guys, welcome.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very, very much for coming down. I've been enjoying this, like the stuff I've been listening to in the last few days.
Hopefully it's ours.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah. I'm pretty sure it is. You said it was anyway.
Yeah. I might have made a mistake.
Yeah. Obviously, we have the guys from Project Karnak in the building. What's the name all about?
I can explain half of it, but he should know more than me.
Apologies to you guys for there's going to be a lot of swapping the mic back and forth.
Yeah, I wish it could say it was like has some like super deep meaning. Like I think the meaning, you know, when you like choose a name, like the meaning will find you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like it was kind of a thing of like, oh, that sounds pretty cool. Like no, I mean like there's all kinds of names you kind of want it to stick out and stuff, and it's one of those things that I feel like with band names it won't feel right until it's like a year down the road and everyone's just kind of saying it kind of thing. So it's only just now like they're like, it's
like a nickname. It's like when you get given a nickname. Like
we have like all kind of abbreviations like PK in it, and then
PK Fire.
and then just Karnak, and just and it's mad. So like the name was. We were just kind of thinking of things. I'm quite bad at thinking of names, and Dom came up with the name. And we were just like, let's just roll with it, man.
So it does. The whole inception of it and everything started with you and Dominic.
Yeah, it did.
So how do you guys know each other? Like, how did that come about, and where did it start?
So my brother runs. So my brother runs a samba band, and back when so this must have been like 5 years ago, and that's how I met Dominic. He knew Dominic from something called Connecticut Blocko. I don't know if you've heard of it, but they're quite.
No.
They like kind of play. It's like really big, like kind of drum kind of band with like trombones and stuff. They're quite big, like quite tall. But he met Dominic through that. And obviously I'm his brother, so he met me. He met me in just in the house, and he wanted to put together his own samba band. So then we linked up through that.
Okay, right.
And then he plays keys, I play drums. We always kind of wanted to kind of do something together.
Yeah.
But and then he came to my school. He came to my school sixth form. So then we were playing in, like then, and he went off to uni, and I was in like I don't know sixth form or something.
Yeah.
And I think like a year later I was like, yeah, we need to start some stuff, man. So this was last year, and he was like, yeah, man, yeah, we will. And then it just like, it's one of those things where it just takes ages to like just back and forth, and then get in a time where we're both free. And I was just like, yeah, man, just come round. And over this time I was like kind of building my own home studio so I could like practice drums and stuff.
Nice.
And then we just came round, we jammed out a bit, and then he uploaded something to Facebook, like a video of us just playing. He made a track, and it was like loads of people liked it, and we ended up getting like a gig at somewhere called Steez. It's kind of like a organisation kind of thing, but they run it at the Duke in Deptford.
Okay.
And Fox and Firkin in Lewisham.
Yes, so, I know that one.
Yeah. So we did that, and then it went quiet for a while because he has his other band Triforce, which is
busy guy.
Yeah, he is quite a busy guy. And then beginning of this year, we just like launched a Facebook page, all of that, and then started working on the EP.
There we go.
And then we decided to bring in, like, before we kind of played to like a Logic backing track and used a shaker as a metronome. Like it was peak.
Did you do any performances like that?
Yeah, that was our first gig.
Oh, that was
last year.
Right, I get you, right.
I mean, I have videos that they'll never get released. You know? No. Okay, it wasn't that bad, but like compared to how it is now. Like,
right. It took it to a whole nother level. Yeah. So what happened? When you say compared to how it is now, what happened is you met a couple other musicians to help translate that.
Yeah, well, Dominic knew both Martin and the guitar player Alex previously. He knows Alex through Mansour Brown, who's like a sick guitar player. He plays in Triforce as well. And he met. How did he meet you on it?
Yeah, how did you go?
Total luck, man. I mean, well, you might know my band Helix Solcombe.
Of course I do.
Chris Chambers and the guys like and Henry Lauer and Joe Roncosia. Shout out to those guys. And Felix Stickland, who's on tour. But Dominic jumped in. Chris got Dominic into Depper Gig with us, and Dominic he's looking at me in a sort of way that, man, you wouldn't expect another man to look at another man like that. And you think, okay. But he starts holding up his phone, shaking his phone at me, going, Play over this. And I'm like, what's this man doing?
Yeah, who's this guy?
He's a man possessed. So yeah, he says, come down. He gives me the address at Sam's space, and he says, come down. We're finishing off our EP. We need some bass. And So I was like, okay, that
I'm
sounds.
your guy.
I'm in that.
guy.
I'm in that part of town,
Yeah.
at the very least. And then they asked me to do a gig, and it's all just snowballed from there. And
It did.
Now it's like Project Karnak has sort of like incorporated us into their tier of membership.
Love that.
We'd already like kind of finished 3 of the tunes on the EP before we brought either of the guys in. There's 5 total. So we had 2 of them that were kind of done semi-live or with live instruments.
Sure.
All of it. And it kind of just snowballed from there. And then we released it finally. It took a while, and then it just snowballed from there. Now we're just getting gigs, man. And we try to like maintain the like electronic element live, especially on the tracks that don't have live instruments.
Sure, right. I mean, you can hear those elements are very prominent on some of the tracks there, which I really enjoy. Did you guys find, what was it like when you first started, working together? Did you find that you had many similar influences? Were you all kind of like on the same page straight away? Did it take a while to kind of establish that connection?
No, I feel like we kind of clicked. I mean, of course, it takes a while to gel and stuff, just with anything, but you kind of clicked straight away. I mean, me and Martin, we kind of think on one of the tunes we locked in like kind of nicely and stuff, like holding stuff back. But there's always, I think if everyone's kind of like got their stuff down on their instruments, you come together. Like you've been working hard on our respective instruments, it will come together to create something like sick. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, but it was nice and fluid how it kind of came together, and it's just getting it more.
Yeah, there's even more of that looking into each other's eyes like you shouldn't be. And then you realise, we're doing that now. We're doing that now. Okay.
Really breaking down some boundaries.
It's very weird, but it's very nice when it clicks, man. It's really good.
Amazing. So you've got this EP, which you've been talking about, Equinox.
Yes.
Yeah. When is that out? It's not out yet, is it?
No, it is out.
It is out.
Yeah,
it's out now.
It's out, man. Yeah, of course,
amazing. Okay, cool, wicked. How long was that sort of in the making? Would you say overall?
So we put out a track in February, and we like worked on that for like 2 months.
Yeah.
And that was like a preview track. So that was one of the 5 on the EP. So that was out of the way.
Okay.
And then it was just a case of like Dominic being like, lay down, like play a kind of groove, man, play this kind of thing, and I'll play something, and then he'll do some stuff over it, and then a lot of the times it wasn't a specific rehearsal. It'd be he sends some stuff to me, I send it to him, and then we come together like at my studio sometimes.
So there's a lot of that back and forth.
Which is difficult sometimes, but it has its ups and
it can be more efficient in some ways, I guess. So how long have you been playing drums?
Probably about 10 years now.
Really?
Yeah.
How long have you been playing bass? I never asked this before.
Well, 8 years.
I mean, bass is your thing, obviously, but you can play any kind of guitar, can't you?
Any kind of guitar.
Any kind.
I can play left-handed ones as well.
Can you really?
No. Badly. I mean, I can make them go. So I've been playing bass for about 8 years, but I got a head start on the guitar. There's a lot of bass players out there that did that, so it's cheating. Really, it's hard to say. It's tough to say because, I'm sure there's, imagine like someone who's been a poet for so many years and then just starts doing it over beats. You'd be like, well, you haven't been a rapper for 5 minutes, have you?
Right. you get that. I see what you mean, exactly.
Trying to think of a comparison, but scrambled and found that one.
He knows about rapping, so I'll go there.
He raps.
He'll know what I'm talking about. But that's the thing, like being that good at any of those instruments is phenomenal. Should we get into one of the songs?
Yeah, man. Did you have a preference?
I do.
He does.
I definitely do. I wanted to start with one of my favourites, one that really stood out to me.
Okay.
And it's a song called Temple.
It
does feature everybody.
It does have everyone on it, which is a bonus.
Exactly. We did this one live, so.
So when we tracked this one, this is one of the first ones this is actually the first one that we did all together. Where Dom and Sam sent out the demos to Alex had been there a couple more weeks than me, I think.
Like
2 weeks. So he kind of knew what was going on. I came in not knowing what was going on. But yeah, we got into the space. We played this for like 2 hours or something, or came back the next day or something like that. And we just did, it's a long track as well. And we did this one start to finish all together. And in particular, I think this is a good example of when we actually did gel. Really well initially, straight away. There's some moments where this track breaks right down before a solo or something, and I just think, we locked in out of nowhere. Yeah, really.
Is this one fun to perform?
I think so. Yeah, it's really fun. I think I really love everyone's reaction to it as well.
Really,
it's because of the way, because it's our slow one, right?
Yeah.
It is our slow one. I had to check with you.
Yeah.
It's slow.
It's
Master of tempo over here. Is that one slow? Yeah.
Slow or fast?
90. Okay.
It's a moderate speed.
It's a moderate speed one.
90 BPM.
But what I love is it's like, because a lot of our tracks are quite fast and people go, oh, what's going on?
Yeah,
they get shaken
yeah.
about a little bit. Whereas this one, I think you just see people being like, oh my goodness. Like, and you
Right.
get the nodding on the go and get a bit giraffe neck going on.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
and I'm thinking that's what it's about for me anyway. That's a reward to see that going on.
Does it
crowd.
give you, have you got quite a lot of freedom on this one to kind of play around and have fun?
Away from the riff, yeah. So there's that riff,
Right.
and that's like, stay here.
Stay here. And you take your eye off that
And then
riff.
when everyone goes off on their own, that's when,
Sick. I'm so because I was gutted. I missed your guys. In fact, we had a gig I think on the same night as
we did
yours.
when we were at Hootenanny, right? 28th, you were elsewhere. You had a hell of a week that week. You had like 3 gigs that week.
Yeah, that was pretty mad. But I really wanted to come to yours. But we'll talk more about that gig actually, and you guys can fill me in on what I missed. But let's get into this. We've been yammering on, and I want to, people need to hear this. So this is a track called Temple.
Yeah, man.
Why that title?
Because it's about 90 BPM and
It's a
They're just
slow one.
Yeah, it was just kind of like, what should we call it? Like, what does this make you think of?
Yeah.
And then like certain things come to mind, like
Sure.
Temple's one of them, just kind of like smooth.
bear in mind this is instrumental music, so it can be that bad. Like, not that the music, the naming can be that unregulated.
You don't
Because you think like, why is it called that? Well, no one says temple in it, so there must be a reason, right? No.
We should just have a part where we just go temple.
I was gonna say, you do it,
At the start of every track, they go, "This is temple" on the record, though.
We'll do some re-edits of that. All right, let's get into this one. That one is Silky Silky Smooth.
Temple. I thought you were going to say that's temple. And I was like, no, it's called Silky Silky Smooth from now on.
Yeah. Oh right. Oh sorry, I see what you mean.
No,
I made it sound like that was the title.
Right. Yeah.
My bad.
My bad. No, my bad.
No,
my bad.
no,
I don't know how you do things. This is your
bad.
zone.
Honestly, honestly, it's my bad, guys.
I got to touch the bicep as well, ladies. Let me tell you.
No, I love that.
I
one.
do work out. Yeah.
Yeah, I did go to the gym today. Yeah. Actually, funny story. I haven't been going to the gym recently because
I would. Do you know what? I would not believe.
You know
that.
why? You know why? Let me tell you exactly why. So for the last 8 months,
that's not.
I've been very very sneakily going to the gym where I used to work. Cause when I left there, my boy who was CRM at the time, I probably shouldn't be saying this, putting everyone on blast, but anyway, some people I knew on the inside.
Okay, let's keep this on the deal. Let's bring the mics down.
They hooked me up with like a, basically a free membership.
That's all right.
They activated my card for like what I thought was another 12 months. So I've been just going there on the slide.
Very nice.
Trying it on a daily, and it's been working. And then
that's just that's an overhang of the benefits you experienced whilst you were working there.
Exactly.
Nothing more to it.
It's like a retirement package.
Company cars, they stay on the road, don't they?
Thank you. Exactly.
Gym memberships, they expire when they expire.
Yeah.
Who cares if they were renewed like the day after you left?
It looks like mine is expired now though.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, I got 8
Are you
months
just
out.
going to accept now your sports status and now just be like, oh, that's me?
Yeah, that's me now. I'm just
This is enough for the next month and then I'll start paying for it.
yeah.
You wait. After a month, are you going to fade away and look like me?
Wait, 2 weeks I'm going to be a shell of my former self.
Fingers crossed, because then everyone else in the world has a shot.
Anyway, I don't want to talk about me. Okay, I want to.
I do.
Normally I'm happy to do that, but no, I want to talk about this project, which I'm absolutely loving. Is this like your first body of work that you?
Yeah, this is my like first one. I'm like, this is the first one for me.
Yeah,
this
like
is,
solo or otherwise.
Yeah, solo or otherwise kind of thing.
Did you guys like? Obviously, explain sort of how you worked on the tracks and stuff. But was it like? I mean, you had the idea to put together an EP. It wasn't just like, oh, this is a cool track. Oh, we've got another cool track. Now there was a bit of a foresight and whatever. Was there a lot of stuff that got left on the cutting room floor? Is what we're hearing. How the intended package.
A little bit. There's like, I don't know. There's a couple of there's things on the back burner that's gonna come out, kind of thing. Kind of thing. Yeah, this isn't this sick right now. We can make this sicker, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Like if it's just not a good idea, then it's just. I mean, actually, there were quite a lot, because for the gig we actually only used one track that we actually made last year.
Okay.
And we had like 5 others just meshed together kind of thing.
So you got some little leftovers.
Yeah, but it's not, it's not. Maybe.
Yeah.
It's,
Absolutely.
We're probably not going to put that out now.
Yeah, right. The time is.
Or make it better.
Well, it's hard because even like finished. I don't know if you guys can both relate, but like I hear a lot of artists say that, even with a finished product, finished track or whatever, it's like 2 months later, it just sounds so stale to you and old. And me personally, I lose enthusiasm about my own stuff very, very quickly before anyone's even heard it. I don't know if you guys can vouch.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's just about like once you made the track, you just make it a bit more exciting, like by adding just maybe a couple more things, or just a couple more ideas. Maybe not just like scrapping the thing completely, kind of thing. Like, if you just add more on to the finished product, I think it will keep it exciting, kind of thing. That's what we did with a lot of them anyway. Like,
well, this is such a strong like debut effort. You know what I mean? Like this sounds amazing. Like for this to be your first. I mean, talking about the first like mixtape I put out sounds like trash, but like this is like really really high quality stuff. Go on.
Yeah, I'm kind of like, I'm very like I scrutinize a lot, like just not just like kind of my playing, but just like, does it sound cheesy or not, or like a lot of the stuff I like to make it sound professional, is like, is it in time and stuff, just like basic things like that, just to have down. So I think it's just down to like standards, innit? Do you know what I mean?
But you got
standards you have, you
got, and if you don't have high standards, then that's where it does go wrong.
Then you've
got to be hard on yourself. Give us a little bit of insight, Marty, into your other project, because you've had some full-length projects.
Yeah, man. I mean, well, I mentioned Helix already. That put out an album last year, and we're kind of, that band is kind of like back in the writing room a little bit. We're kind of hidden away at the moment, and thinking about, we've got a couple of newer tracks that we'd like to build around. Sick. When you've got a sound that's a bit different from the last sound, and you think, well, let's build on that.
It's like an evolution.
Yeah, exactly. Well, this is where that's at now. I mean, what else is there, man? I mean, there's a bit of, I'm big on the YouTube and that, but that's not big on the YouTube. I'm keen on the YouTube. I'm not actually big.
I'm real hot on there.
I'm an utter failure, but I'm very pleased to do it.
But I love it. But I love it all the same.
But no, man, I wanted to expand actually what Sam was saying about like adding a little flavour, because I like, what's great about what we're doing at the minute is we can go to a gig as well and watch someone else in our sphere play and. Not steal, but take something of what they've done and be like, well, now I can take that back to, let's say, I can take that back to Temple, which isn't getting, which after 2 months, maybe my individual contribution to that track feels stale. Yeah. So maybe in the second verse of that, I might take that flavour that I've seen and got really excited about at someone else's gig, just take that little element, start bringing it in tastefully, and you feel like you're playing a new track. Yeah. And everyone listening just feels like, oh, this is kind of the live twist. There's kind of a balance between that, where you can strike really nicely. Right? I
like that as a fan. I enjoy when I go to a concert that I want to see like a reimagining of
absolutely
of the track,
even if it's really subtle, even if it's just the rhythm's changed,
or like some extra keys that weren't there before.
Absolutely,
just it's amazing actually how subtle differences can actually change the mood in such a big way.
We've actually been doing that because like a lot of the like not just for the sake of doing it, but just to like kind of expand the kind of song a bit, like for live, just vibe it out a bit, like putting in maybe little solos, but then breakdowns and stuff. So like, because we do the kind of electronic thing, a lot of it with a lot of electronic music is layering. Yeah. So we'll just layer things and like maybe bring it down, do like a kind of different kind of groove. But especially live, you want it kind of a different experience. You don't want it to be exactly like the album.
No.
And I think
it's more enjoyable to perform, right, when it's you can put a new spin on it.
And all of us are kind of like getting better on our like individual instruments, and it's kind of the first thing. So like this is kind of the opposite effect. Like with bands, you'll see them live and it won't be as good as the album or whatever. A lot of people say that, but I feel like we've kind of done it so it's better than the album now, because we just had time to gel and like make more music as well.
You definitely have that. You always have that pressure from the audience, because obviously you're there to please them, whatever. But do you find do you guys ever within the group ever put any pressure on each other? Is there any like elements of competition Or do you know what I mean? Little things like that. Like, do you push each other basically?
When I play, I stare Sam in the eye and I sort of do this nod that's like, yeah, I'm coming for you.
Everyone's just saying great gig. I'm just like, yeah, that was just shit.
Get it together, right? Yeah.
But no, it's more of a thing, just like kind of just suggestions. I think it can create kind of a negative environment if you're always being
too.
Yeah, and it's like, I mean, it's good to do it on yourself because you can take it, but like to do it to like other people, I mean, it's friendly suggestions are the best thing, I think.
Yeah.
Just to like, if you don't vibe with anything, but you know, I like 50% of what Martin does. The rest of it, you know, Martin, I'm going to have to say right now.
Whilst we're on
Martin,
air,
get it together, Martin.
Get it together.
Now's a great time to bring that up.
I think in this particular outfit, we've got quite a good balance of, I mean, we all come off stage, we know when a gig was good. You know, we know that.
Yeah.
But we're not self-congratulatory in...
Really?
I mean, we say good job, but we know where the improvements can be made. We do know that.
Yeah.
And I think I've been in bands where that isn't communicated at all. You just go, well, they loved it, so who cares what
you
we
don't
think
critique.
There's no critical thought about what you're doing yourself, and you've got to have that. And I think we've struck a good balance with it, where we know there was 3 or 4 things in that set where we could probably turn the screw on that a little bit, but let's not let that take away from what was in essence a good show that we enjoyed and everyone enjoyed. So
yeah, totally.
How what a boring way to look at it.
No, but that's how you get better. You know, like that's the you know, the people at the top of their game. That's what they're doing.
Yeah,
you know?
definitely. I think because like once we come off stage, a lot of the times we're like. We're just criticising ourselves, kind of thing. So we're all just criticising ourselves, just like, I don't need to say anything to this.
I look the other 3 guys in there and say, just you should fire me.
Yeah.
You need to let me go because I won't leave myself.
Did you hear that fill at 3 minutes and a half? Like it was just so out of time.
I didn't land on the one like I felt I wanted to. It was red when it should have been yellow. No, we're not that bad.
I was going to say you've lost me now. The colour.
That's not a technical term, mate.
On like music colours. You know?
Musical colours. Well, there's people that do that. There's synesthesia, and people apparently hear like D is blue or something, and they're like, that's how it is. And I just think, well, good for you.
I definitely have some sort of visual represent when I hear music. There's some sort of visual, very abstract visual representation
with particular sounds?
Absolutely. Like with that King Cruel track. Like when I hear that, I just think of like very dark shades of blue and grey and black and
I mean, I think this is very normal though. I've definitely pictured scenes from other places. You know, music takes you elsewhere, right? So you definitely picture very vivid scenes of other places, but definitely not like a synesthesiac level of like picturing red when I hear C major or something like that.
I wouldn't say
there are people doing that.
No, I know, and people that claim they actually do. They physically see these.
That's like a claim. They claim it.
Prove it.
Prove it to me. Show me your eyes.
It's like perfect pitch, isn't it, or something like that?
Yeah.
Something that rare. Yeah.
It's just
that's a good way of looking at it.
It's a myth. No, but I think no,
those people
lying.
Those people that say you're playing a D on that keyboard, they can see it in a mirror.
Yeah. I tell you what, the closest thing I can describe what goes on in my head when I'm just listening to any kind of musical sound or anything. It's like. Do you remember on like Windows Media Player where you'd put up the old
the visualisations?
Yeah.
I feel like I have that in my brain a lot of the time happening.
That's what technology has done to us as a generation.
Maybe that's it. Yeah, just use it.
Imaginations are just squished.
Yes.
When the iTunes visualisations came out, did you feel betrayed? Did you feel it was controversial?
I don't even.
This is years ago. Still,
want to go.
They don't do them anymore. Do you think there's visualisations in any programs anymore? I'm not asking.
No?
Do you think that? I'm just like, that sounded really accusation.
Oh, yeah. Aggressive tone.
I'm leaving.
Do you honestly think that?
Hoxton FM endorses
you idiot.
Visualisations. Blimey.
It is a thing of the past.
It's definitely something we've lost, isn't it?
Yeah.
Damn.
Well, not me, because I have it permanently in my brain.
In your brain. You've saved it. You've held on to that.
Yeah,
well done.
Exactly. We talked briefly.
I've thrown you. I'm sorry.
Hey, it takes more than that to throw me. Let me tell you, bro. I've been in this game.
You've seen this coming.
I've been in this game a while. No, what I wanted to say was because we commented a little bit about like the circuit that you guys are on and other similar acts. Well, we talked about Blue Lab Beats, things like that. Are you guys comfortable with like the term jazz fusion, or is there a way that you would kind of categorize yourselves, or do you like to just not think about that?
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's a bit. I don't know, jazz is like a word. It's used for like a lot of things. Like some people mean jazz as in like the swing kind of music, like.
Yeah.
And then other times it's like meant as just improvisation. I mean, and then like kind of everything's jazz except pop music. Or pop
yeah. Top 40.
Yeah.
I mean, I hear jazz fusion a lot when it's jazz, but not that. Do you know what I mean? Like not that swing stuff. Right. But it's weird because when I see the other acts under the same umbrella at the moment in London, I just sort of accept. Yeah, of course, we're all in the same arena.
Yeah. You can just tell. You feel it. You can tell.
I just feel like this makes sense. But honestly, like from hanging out with people who make EDM of any kind, who are so strict about what makes. They can be really strict about what makes their genre their genre.
No, they are.
If you play something, I was listening to your music the other day. I got inspired and I made this, and they're like, sorry, is that 130 BPM?
No,
and I'm like,
it's true.
It is. And they're like, well, that's 10 BPM too slow. How dare you?
You know what the best, in my eyes, the best example of that is, not that I want to make any enemies here on the station, because there's a lot of them, but with house heads.
Are they very sensitive?
People really like house. Whoa, I mean, do you know how many subgenres of house there are?
No.
There's a lot.
And are they all 1 BPM apart?
I mean, there are differences.
I'm sorry, house people.
There are differences.
You thought you were going to make enemies, and I just shot.
No, exactly. No, but I could bump into any of them here at any point.
That's true.
But no, there's. I mean, my God, there's so. If you're actively trying to get into house music and like study it, it's like there's so many different subgenres, and some of the differences are so minimal and so subtle. Yeah. Some of them, it's like you can. Oh, I get that. I get why. But. A lot of the time people's attitudes towards it are very militant, which I think is what kind of you were getting to.
Yeah, I certainly haven't felt that from jazz fusion, where everyone sort of accepts like, that's just, fine, just say it's that and we'll move on. I'm going to stand in a room and go like that at your music and it'll be fine. And like no one, certainly I've never experienced anyone coming to me and saying, well, you can't call yourself that because you play the bass like that, or like your drummer's doing that, so it can't possibly. Imagine like how rigorous people are with like the nature of a beat.
Yeah.
In like those house subgenres, I'm sure there's tons of that. And the way, like for example, Sam plays and any of the guys that I play with play, they have so much variation in their playing and so much freedom compared to like what you would put into a sequencer. So imagine the diversity in comparison and the rabbit hole you could go down if you wanted to start being that precise with those labels.
Picking it apart,
So when you say, are we happy with jazz fusion? It's
it is.
In summary,
it is.
It's
I mean, to be honest, and I'm slating the house heads, but we do.
House heads.
We do it in hip hop as well. In this day and age, it's like it's mumble rap. It's not like it's not golden era boom bap. It's not real. Do you know what I mean? People have their own ideas, but there's other genres where people are very happy to let it.
Honestly, I'm sure there's someone would listen to what I'm saying and scream at me and say, "You idiot! Like, you're chatting, Bruce." But honestly, personally, I don't care. Like I go to like as many like jazz refreshers on a Thursday at Mamo Bar as I can, and as many of these gigs as I can. And I just think this all fits into my mind. And if they want to come and tell me this is jazz, then so be it. That's totally fine.
No, totally. I think that's it. I think as an artist, you have to take that stance, and then you leave the labelling up to the consumers.
Leave it to the bloggers.
Leave it to the but you do, because that's how they hone in on what they want to listen to.
That's how they tell other people that they should listen to it, right?
And that they're wrong.
It's always interesting, like when you put out a track and then some people are like saying things about it, like, and they're like categorizing it in the genre, like you don't really think about it when you're, well, at least I don't.
No.
I didn't really think about it when I'm doing it, but then
afterwards,
they kind of they categorize it and it's like, I guess that's kind of
because you have reference points, you may compare it to other things. That's how people do it. But do you, so what, this scene, this circuit that you are involved in, because we always talk about, like, whenever I have the rappers come on the show, we talk about like this kind of sort of new wave that's opening up somewhere between like the like obviously grime's getting loads of attention now, like making it in the UK as a grime artist, it's like you have the best chance now that you ever have. Would you say
it's great news for me?
Exactly. So you can stop this jazz nonsense. And,
can I put out my SoundCloud address quickly?
Please do. But yeah, do you think that that sort of scene is particularly hard to get into?
You mean grime?
No.
So he's not asking us
Yeah, well,
about
I mean,
crime.
you know, I have some bars
you
like.
can comment if you want.
I don't know. I think you have to.
I got some instrumentals, so.
Oh, Matt, no, I'm not ready. I'm not ready right now.
Just
Keeping it PG, man.
Yeah, of course.
PK.
Yeah, of course.
I don't know. I think you've just got to come to a certain standard. That's all. That's
that
all I
all
can
it is?
think of, is making sure that
You think making a name for yourself is doable with
Yeah,
if you've got
half easy, half difficult.
the skills?
Maybe.
Yeah.
I think if you just like, there's a lot of room to be like really good, like just at anything. If you put in the hours and you're like determined and stuff, and then you just put out good stuff, it will eventually, like, it might take time, but it'll eventually come. Like there are like fewer and fewer acts that are really good that deserve to be recognised that aren't recognised.
Absolutely.
Kind of thing, because just the internet, people sharing it, all of that stuff, like, just as long as it's good and you put it out and it's
It'll hit
genuine,
the right ears.
yeah, it will.
Yeah, no, I agree with that, I think. Did you have... Oh, sorry, I thought you had something to elaborate on that for you.
Oh well, so I've let you down there. No, I just think, yeah, pretty much. I mean, it's a matter of, I think, also with that freedom, that genre freedom we were just talking about, that ability to be flexible, is you can sort of dip your toe in the water a little bit with an idea you're having. Like these, Sam and Dom worked together for months before we had an EP together, the four of us, right? So, I mean, with Fellowship, right, which was the first track, there was obviously a degree of like dip the toes into water, and everyone went, yep, great, do that. And so an EP followed, right? So if that had gone differently, whereas like they said, oh, this first track's not so good, but then they put out a second one another couple of months later, and that was the way to go, then it would have gone down that route, right? So I don't know. You
can find your niche in this sort of day and age.
Absolutely.
And obviously, you guys are both very, very humble people. But I mean, would you say that, you know, does this project stand out? Is it different to what other people are doing right now?
I think in a way, I think we're trying to make it more and more different. I think especially kind of including more electronic things. Like I was saying to Martin, like I haven't fully said this before, but like play. Well, it's about to go down now.
He's about to drop a bomb. Yeah.
You heard it here first.
How we used to write songs, like it would just kind of be on a Mac and then doing it electronically and coming up like that, and like with all the synthesizers and things like that. So like thinking when we play live, when we make songs, we make sure not to make songs just like in a band room or like one or two or kind of thing, because then that will kind of take away from what we did before, kind of thing.
I mean, we've already not changed the sound, but we've made more of demos that were around at the same time as the EP was being finished, right? So you and Don had a few more ideas in the tank when the EP was getting finished, and the EP got finished very much in the original vision, and then there's these demos that we've been developing for the live set that have a new way of being developed when there's four of us, and like me and Alex has a huge influence. Well, the guitar player Alex Blake, he has a huge influence because he has a very unique sound with his guitar. He does some very different things, and obviously Dom is a keys player. He doesn't sit down and like turn on the electric piano patch and start playing like he has a lot of attention. He pays a lot of attention to the tools he has available to him and his synth sounds, and he crafts his sounds a great deal. Sam has a very unique drum set. I've never seen anyone with this kind of cymbal setup before, that kind of thing. So everyone's got this little twist, man. Everyone's got this little twist.
Now
it's four times as much, and I'm just some bass player, so
you can just play anything.
I can play anything.
Anything you get your hands on.
I just play with the tuning pegs and go, look how cool I am.
He bought a cool pedal the other day.
I did buy a cool pedal.
What pedal did you buy?
I bought something called an Aguilar Filter Twin. It makes it go wow.
Oh yes.
It's that 70s like wow.
That Thundercat type.
Pretty much, you know, them changes. He's got like 3 of them running, I think. Not exactly that pedal, but it's that sound. It's that sound that makes your bass go like.
Makes it sound sexy.
Oh, it's real sexy.
End of the day. So I want to get into another track because wow, the time is just flying by. I can hardly believe it. But you actually just referred to this song, which segued us quite nicely. Fellowship. Another amazing track. Absolutely
OG
loving
track.
that one.
Yeah.
OG track. Yeah. What can you tell us about this one then? What's the significance of it?
I think it was just Dominic. This was more kind of Dominic. Dominic's kind of moulding for it, so it would kind of start off, he'd play some stuff, but then he'd want me to play a kind of like a unique-ish beat to it. So like that, I feel like that's like with most of the stuff, we don't want to just have like a standard drum beat because the more you set yourself apart with the individual instruments, the more it's gonna just sound different, kind of thing. So with that, it was kind of, he took it away and then he'd do some more stuff on it, and then he'd give it back to me, and then I'd do some stuff. I play like some stuff to like nothing, just like to a click, and then he put some stuff, and then when I go to the ride, he'd do some stuff that I was doing there.
Yeah.
And then it's like a bit of a back and forth. So that was the first back and forth.
Amazing.
And then we did like,
because it gels so well.
Yeah.
And I get maybe that's why, because it's
yes, it's weird because there's certain things I'm like, I wasn't really thinking of that when I was playing it, but then he did this on top of it, and then he'll like split something that I'm playing and like do like a little dropout kind of thing. So the form, he was kind of in charge of the form, but like kind of the ideas and stuff, he was kind of like bringing it off me, and then it was just back and forth.
Because I can definitely like sort of empathise when working with different producers and stuff as a vocalist. Like, depending on who you're working with, it can bring like totally different things out of you. You can end up really surprising yourself. Have you guys found with working together that you've I don't know, maybe developed a new style of playing, or you've tried something you haven't tried before, or do you know what I mean, discovered something that you didn't think you could do? Or
I mean, this is definitely a new way of playing for me. I mean, it's still under that jazz fusion sphere, but if I compare it to like what I'm used to in that under that umbrella of Helix, it's, you know, it feels like it's double the speed, and it feels like I feel like an athlete. I don't look like one, but I feel like an athlete playing this, man.
That stamina.
Like, I'm sweating every gig. It's a workout, man. You know, if I look like you after, I'll be chuffed. I don't need that gym membership, man. I got PK Fire.
I got rehearsals.
But also, what I love about this track in particular is there are like, I don't know how many versions there are, but Sam and Dom have like versions, like that in 20 years' time will get put out, I assume.
Yeah, maybe it'll be like, I messed up.
Tapes,
I messed up that part. Let's do it again. Or it'll just be like different kind of things. Like I won't be happy with the drum part. I'll be like, oh, I could do this here. So he'd like do something off of something I did to nothing, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then I'd be like, no, I can do some sicker stuff there, and then do it to that, and then it would kind of meld.
You got time to think about it more, I get what you're saying.
And also with this track being one of the oldest, because it's the first one the two guys to ever put out.
Right.
It's one of the oldest in the set, so this one we've kind of taken the furthest as well, I think.
Really?
In terms of, you know, we were talking about adding new spice for live. This one's like double the length now.
Oh, wow.
It goes on and on and on in a good way.
Yeah. sit still. Hold on. Yeah.
People are pleased with that.
Yeah.
But it's definitely had that. It's so robust. It's had that treatment applied to it. So it's definitely been thrown around the room.
Well, I mean, I can't wait to hear it eventually live. And for the meantime, I'm loving the recorded version. So let's get into it now. This is Fellowship. Yeah, that one is a banger.
Cheers, mate.
Fellowship.
I can't take any credit for it as well.
But I can see how flipping difficult that must be for you to do that. Just all over the place. Where did you guys record all these?
My house.
Yeah, basically.
Pause for effect.
Yeah, just badass. Yeah, no, it was. So I think at first, so a little backstory. At first, we were gonna like, I think it was like in December. Dominic was like, "Yeah, let's just get in the studio and like get some stuff down." And I was like, "Yeah, bruv, I'm looking at some mics. I think I'm gonna buy them." Like, and like, I get an audio interface and all of that, and we just plug everything through that. So
really,
Yeah,
I got all the drum mics and stuff, got them on the deal, you know.
Of course. Buy in bulk.
Yeah, man. And from there, we just kind of... I treated the room a bit more like acoustically and stuff to make it sound good. And then we just kind of took it from there. And then once we realised how good like the drum kind of sound was just from...
This is why I asked, because obviously you have that little solo drum section at the end there. And anytime I hear well-recorded drums, it always blows me away. It's always something I'm sort of most impressed by, because... I don't know, in my experience, recording drums well, making real live drums sound that good is not easy.
Well, we got someone to like mix and another guy to master it. We got someone called Caleb Menashe. I don't know how to say his second name, but yeah, he did a really good job mixing Fellowship and like all the other stuff. But yeah, just making sure just like basic things, like making sure the snare drum mic is pointing at the snare drum, and like making sure the overheads are like the same distance from the snare drum. Just basic stuff, and then it just makes it easier to get like a good kind of sound.
You know that basic stuff at uni when like you pretended to get the tape measure out in second year? Yeah. He actually took that very seriously, and like
he knows now.
On spec, I think whoever mixed that was probably quite pleased that he did that.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was. Do you know, the room, the space is quite small as well, and it's very well treated, and the sound is quite tight. There's not a lot of like random loose ambience.
You can hear that,
like,
though.
You can sound like any space that's added is added. But that allows it to be whatever it wants to be, I think.
You can absolutely hear that, like, you know, in that example, when you strip away everything else, you just have the drums, like they do sound tight as anything.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man.
Yeah.
That's what I work on, you know.
Cool.
Drums, man. Yeah.
Good. And so did you have much, you know, more like a hands-on approach when it came to like the mixing of it and things like that? Did you sort of
ish? I mean, we sent it back like a couple of times saying, yeah,
with
could
notes?
you could you like change this? And at the time I was quite like busy, like at the time of release, so it was a bit haywire, like sending things back like, yeah, can you turn up the drums, turn down the guitar kind of thing. But I think overall we kind of got a sound that I'm happy with.
Yeah.
But it was back and forth, but he did a very good job with the mixing.
Yeah. Amazing. So give us a quick rundown of the gigs that you have played, because we have touched on them, but obviously you did Jazz Refreshed was your debut one altogether.
Yeah, on the 6th of July we were at Jazz Refreshed, and that was just such a good night.
What was that like? The first one.
It was adrenaline, man.
It was scary.
Okay, so how nervous were you guys?
Actually, that was the first time I was nervous, like properly nervous in a long time.
Seriously?
Yeah, man. Because it's all fast and techie and stuff.
You gotta get it right.
No. And like, you know, I'm waiting to get glared at by like Dom and Sam and Alex. Just like, oh man, it's getting fired.
You've done that. what was the audience like? What kind of people were there watching? Do you remember?
There were a lot of there's just friends of ours and stuff, and guys around the circuit. The Blue Lab Beats guys came as well, so that was nice to see them.
Sometimes that is more. Well, it is more nerve-wracking when it's faces that you recognise.
Yeah, sometimes it's like I'll show them I can do.
Yeah,
I can do it too. I can do it too, man. Yeah.
But what's nice about that community as well is they're all very supportive.
Sure.
As well, as long as you're halfway there, they're gonna say it was great. You know, they're gonna really enjoy it. And as I said, because it's such a broad community, everyone's bringing their own thing to the table. So it's quite hard for someone to say, like, stand in the room and say, you guys are like a worse version of me, you know.
like what I was like about 5 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. So that doesn't happen. So yeah, everyone was really great, and everyone was super nice there as well. And
that's great.
That's your cable. But also really positive about the set and stuff like that. So that was great. Then we went down to Brainchild on the day after.
Tell us about the day after.
The day after.
I almost missed the coach.
Mate.
Like, it was so peak. I was like, you know, Lewisham, like
kinda.
Okay,
you know the state Lewisham's in right now.
The building works like the buses is just so peak. Like.
Basically, he didn't get up in time. He didn't leave on time, and he was just the bus. But
I use that every day.
I left with exactly enough time to get there at the latest I should get there.
And you were later.
You can't rely on buses.
No, you can't.
We were like getting. There was this coach taking like all these artists from London to the site on the south coast.
Well, sorry, where is
Brainchild's near
Brainchild?
Lewes, which is LEWES, which is like somewhere down there, down there, where they don't talk like that.
No.
And like there's all these people waiting to go, and Sam hadn't got there yet, so we just started like getting out of our seats and sort of getting off the coach and just standing outside the coach.
Please.
Oh yeah, sorry. Or then they'd be like, get on the coach, and like, one of us gets back on, the other gets off, and then. Eventually he got there. You had
to stall it. You had to literally.
We were literally like hanging out off the coach, being like, "Yeah, we will get on the coach, man."
We are getting on the coach.
Sort of pretending not to know.
Do you know, it was so like I just felt like such a waste man on the bus because I was just sitting there on the bus. The bus driver was just like he was just taking his like sweet time, like, and I was just like WhatsApping guys, just please, just like hold it there. It's like I don't know if we can do anything, man. And it got so peak, like I was like 10 minutes away, and I was like looking at other ways to get to Brainchild, like, and it was like 2.5 hours. Like my train was like, But
no.
like
it all worked out in the end.
I feel like I was there. That stress is so
the
real.
endorphins that I felt when I got on, I was just like so happy. I was just like,
let's do this.
I don't even have to go. I just made it to the coach, man. Yeah.
So what's the vibe like at Brainchild? Is it proper festival vibe, like in its true sense?
It's festival vibe, but like it's really chilled. So
it's
like
well jazz,
and it's
it is.
It's mostly live music, isn't it?
Yeah, man. There's a lot of live music. They also have like a whole thing dedicated to like spoken word and things like that, right? And they have some really out there jazz subgenres as well. So they've got some really out there stuff.
Lovely.
There's like a jam where a couple of guys were playing like free jazz,
which
is even too much for me, man.
Is that just like
that's just
yeah,
It's actually the first festival I've seen. It's such a sick idea to have a jam at the festival. Like anyone can come up and just jam. That's so sick.
I've not seen that either. It sounds like it's one geared at musicians and real music fans kind of thing.
I mean, it was great because you get to with the jams in particular, they have some awesome bands. That we were on the Steed stage, which is the same people that do like in Deptford, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And they have some awesome musicians playing their gigs. So they're just there, and they just say, "Well, there's amplifiers. Get on the stage.
Why the hell not? Yeah.
Plug into them." And like, obviously, these people are so proficient at their instruments; they just gel immediately.
Yeah.
And it was really good to.
Was that your first time going there, both of you? Or?
Yeah.
It's one you'd want to return to if possible.
Yeah, I definitely want to go there again.
Yeah.
Absolutely. If anything, for the Saturday morning yoga.
Oh god. Yes.
Oh man, we had to.
I bet that sorts your hangover right out.
Yeah, that's exactly what I want to be doing straight away. I mean, for some, great. For me, whoa.
a nice stretch in a green juice. That's
absolutely
as good as it gets.
In a field.
Exactly. Sounds amazing. And then after that, you had the one I missed.
Yeah.
Hootenannies.
Yeah.
What was that like?
28th of July, mate. I love Hootenanny Brixton anyway. Like I can I can be stood there getting my trainers messed up, and I love that place.
You can see anything.
So to get
there.
up there, man, and like just with these guys as well, and just I had loads of friends came as well. It was just, that was absolutely killing. That place is just something about it, man. Just makes me go a bit. Ooh.
Was that your favourite?
It is my favourite.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my favourite venue anyway, mate. So
right.
I probably would have
play your favourite venue.
I could have played like some pop nonsense. I mean, not that I would there, but you know, like, it could have been terrible, and I would have loved it. So
Absolutely.
That was great. Absolutely loved it.
I think of the Jazz Refresh one, the first one. I think I preferred that the most.
That was your favourite.
Yeah. Just the bass drum just sounded so good, man. Just the bass drum. Yeah.
One track, man. How did the drums sound?
Yeah.
I have to say, man. Yeah, I mean, from a technical point of view, from a performance point of view, Jazz Refresh definitely was the best. Because you're the only band on the bill as well. There, you get there at like 7-8 p.m.
Yeah.
You get on the stage, you set everything up. You get so much time to just shift stuff around. They put their cameras up and the mics they want, and then you get even more time. You get a long sound check. Like the great thing about the sound check there is as well is like everyone's watching it, but no one seems to care that it's a sound check. It's great. Sometimes there can be a bit of a stigma around it being a sound check.
Yeah.
Being like, don't play that. Just
Yeah.
But this is just like, just play for a bit, and so what if everyone hears it again? So you get a really long time
that
to
is
be
tricky
the only
when that
set up
happens.
there. To get your setup, to get your sound, get exactly what you want in your monitors and things like that. Whereas almost every other gig you ever play, it's get on there. Yeah, we did try this earlier, but let's see what happens.
That's what happens now.
We did try it, but I've moved all the knobs since then.
Exactly,
So-
for the other band.
Yeah.
But
Hey, where's the snare drum? Where is the snare drum?
Yeah, we can't find it. We can't locate the snare drum. But that sounds more like a TV appearance, like a TV performance.
What,
in that sense.
the Jazz Refresh one with the one band thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
That's just how they do it. They're great because they're saying like, this is the band that is on tonight. We're all about this band for an hour.
Yeah.
And like, it's just that's just how that plays out. That's how that ends up feeling.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it's way less stressful than a TV performance would be because you can hear everything perfectly as well. There's no nonsense with like where's the sound going. It's all just coming out the speakers, coming out the monitors. And they're great as well because they like film everything. There's like a live video out of it as well. You can like go on YouTube and watch us from that gig as well. Like play one of the tracks. It's amazing. They do such good work for like the bands that perform for them. Because not only are they like they're a label putting out vinyl as well and stuff like that. So they're putting out the best that London has to offer.
Yeah. There you get. Need I say more?
So humble, you know.
Yeah. I know.
You said we were humble
Can I
earlier.
retract that?
Let me turn the screw. No, but like, but no, the other bands they have, they're all fantastic, and like, they also provide so much media for you to go forward with, which is so important.
In what sense?
Well, you get a live video,
right?
Like you get this awesome. The sound's great. The footage is beautiful. They do a bit of Facebook Live on the night as well. So
yeah, that's just
wicked.
bonus, man.
Yeah, no, that is.
You'll be able to watch Triforce on that tonight. Dom's other band, Triforce, on the Facebook Live. Jazz Refresh, mate, and just see what I'm talking about. It's brilliant.
Amazing. I'm going to check that out for sure. So looking to the future, what are the plans for the group? Like,
we're continuing this gig in Flex right now.
Yeah, we're done. We're just
that's
done.
it. That's it.
We played 3 gigs and we thought that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So we've got
Quit
2.
while you're ahead.
We got 3 now dates in September. One of them I found out about today. But we're in London 3 times in September. We're going to be at Paper Dresses in Hackney on the 2nd, which is a Saturday. And then we're going to be at Stee's in the Fox and Firkin in Lewisham on the 16th. And then on the 19th, where are we on the 19th? We're with Blue Lab Beats on the
Blue Lab
19th,
Beats on
so
the
they've got enough fans to make sure that gig's packed. So.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
But like that's basically where we're at, is just keeping getting out there, gigging, road testing, getting more material, and then in the future we'll just keep laying more material down.
Yeah.
With the philosophy being the four of us now.
Yeah.
So like,
so everyone has more of an input in the creative process is the idea.
Yeah,
pretty
it's
much
just bouncing ideas off each other. Like it makes it nice. Like if someone's got an idea, we'll run it. That we'll all know if it's a bit of a dead idea or not. The other person will say, "Yeah, don't worry, no, it's fine. Don't worry about that idea. It's fine." It's fine.
Don't worry about that one.
Don't worry about your ideas.
But
Disregard those.
But other than that, I think we're going to release like maybe a track in winter or whatever.
That's it.
Wicked,
Yeah, we
wicked,
have a particular idea that's a little further along than the others, and
I like that.
I mean, the great thing about going live, as much as we're trying to and are, is that we get to road test this material in a very real way. It's not like we're hiding away going, "Oh, we need more songs, so let's just
yeah. No,
songs."
of course.
So you road test it, and there's been a couple, like on the Jazz Refresh gig in particular, like we played our program and we were like a few minutes short. I say a few.
Yeah.
Anyone that was there will know how short we were. But we took one of those ideas and just went, okay, well, there's four of us on this stage. You start. Here we go.
And done it.
We did it, and it was one of the best things about that set.
Yeah,
and it was awesome.
Yeah, one of the improvised tunes. My friend said like it was his favourite track. It was baby making music apparently.
Project Karnak, source for all your baby making music.
Amazing. Keeping Durex in business there as well. What was I going to say? See, I've thrown myself off now.
That's your own blooming fault, isn't it? You just think I'm such a bad person.
Ridiculous jokes like that. What about it in terms of like musical direction? Have you got any ideas of where you want to go with it? Because I will say now, quick disclaimer: if you're looking to get any vocals involved at any point, holler at your boy. Yeah. But have you got any ideas like that? Anything you know where you want to mix it up a little bit? Or
Dom set me a challenge, or I've told him to set me a challenge. So I've set myself a challenge, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, of just kind of coming up with a new beat kind of each week, and like making it like it is quite hard on drums, just coming up with something you haven't really heard before.
Yeah.
So that's kind of going to be a foundation. So I'll send it to Dom, and then he has like a couple of ideas over it, kind of thing. So that kind of musical direction, just kind of doing same stuff but new at the same time. And yeah, we might we've already taken it in a bit of a different direction with some of the live tunes as well. But again, making sure we keep it electronic. So just making sure we keep the electronic foundation, because that's
still there.
Yeah. And just kind of use the instruments to emulate.
Well, it melds, it gels so well together. Yeah. I mean, to me as a listener, it's like sort of a key part of your signature sound at this point. So
yeah,
really
I feel like with a lot of the jazz kind of stuff as well, there's a lot of people I feel like not a lot of people use like the authentic kind of electronic sound. They'll use the kind of like hip hop kind of stuff, but like electronic kind of stuff.
So what you guys like? What kind of synths are you guys working with? You guys got like a collection of hardware?
Do you want me to jump on the gear list? Because you'll just say the snare sounded amazing.
Indulge me, please.
Well, in terms of what Dom's using with his keys.
Well, yeah.
Well, he's. Do you know what? A sound that is quite popular, and Henry and Helix does it as well, and a lot of big names have it, is the King Korg, which is a synth that you hear a lot. I mean, Corey Henry on Snarky Puppy is using like one of the default patches on it a couple of records ago. So it's just like, yeah, okay,
it's
you've got to use that, and he's like I said earlier, he's spent a lot of time with it. His main keyboard is a Kronos by Korg, which is huge, like massive workstation keyboard, and he's obviously got to know the tools so well.
Yeah,
it's like, do you ever have that mate like a few years ago who actually knew how to use Native Instruments Massive?
Yeah.
Like he's at that point with it. You know, there was that guy who knew actually how to use Massive.
Yeah, he's in there,
and he's like making all the lines appear and shit like that. And you just think, when did you figure that out? He's done that with his tool set.
I've mastered how to create a good 808 on Massive.
Exactly.
I will take
credit for that.
Take a little bit of credit for that, but I know what you mean.
I can make a sine bass.
yeah, exactly.
I think Dom's as well, he's programmed in his own sounds kind of thing. Right. So like the sounds he like programmed in Logic for like the original tracks, he'd like take those sounds and maybe change them a bit just for live purposes.
Sure, yeah.
But the main thing is making sure the sounds, like that's just as a bass level, the sounds are kind of unique-ish.
I was about to say that's so great having someone like that involved that's doing that, because it does give you that unique sound. I remember that was a big thing, like when I first started making like grime beats and stuff back in the day. It was like me and my friend, we always lean more towards like adjusting presets and stuff as much as possible, because like you don't want to just use a sound that everyone else has got access to. Like you want to make it your own. So.
Sounds are like a lot. So much is just like the sound that it is. Of course, there's musicianship and all of that. Yeah. You don't need to be good at drums. Just have a nice snare drum, man.
It sounds good, man.
But a lot of it is just sounds, especially with just electronic textures and all of that. Like, and just keeping it fresh, man. Keeping it fresh electronically, man.
Anything else you guys want to plug, or anything we should like be keeping an eye out for? Or is it just the gigs? Get to these gigs.
It is all about the gigs, man. It's all about getting down to Paper Dresses on the 2nd of September and Steez at Lewisham, Fox and Firkin on the 16th, and wherever it is we are on the 19th. We're also out there with Blue Lab Beats, which I'm very excited about.
I'm excited about that. That's dope. So what's the best way for people to follow you guys and keep up to date? Make sure they're not missing these.
Oh, Facebook, Instagram, all of that. Facebook and Instagram's the main ones.
It's a big one for that. And it's project, as you'd expect, Karnak, Karnak. And the EP obviously is out, and it's on Spotify, it's on Bandcamp, it's on all those places where they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
iTunes, all of that,
Exactly.
All
major streaming services. We have handed it over to the corporation.
Yeah, exactly.
And for just £10 a month, you can get that and much more.
That is a bargain. That's where we're at right now. Guys, thank you so much for coming down.
I've got to say, thanks for having us, man.
Yeah.
I really appreciate getting into
it. I've had so much
with you.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing, because you literally
I watch
tune
it
in every week,
and I'm like, it's weird. You see it from the one side, and like, it's literally like you see it from the other side of the glass, literally, because that's glass.
It's glass there. It's glass. No one knows. Oh, God. You come in and you
lesson learned.
Now you can see how actually cheap the equipment is. So.
Give it a quick tap. The whole station shuts down.
Exactly. Yeah. No one breathe too heavy.
Have we gone off air? Can we wiggle the Ethernet?
Yeah, we're done. Forget
I'm sorry. I shouldn't come. I shouldn't be welcomed here and then slated.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I can do it.
And as for house producers, well,
oh my God. Yeah, you've earned yourself. Well
I've
done.
really
you've
earned myself a lot.
ban.
I've earned myself a lot of goodwill today, and hopefully Project Karnak a lot of goodwill.
Exactly. No,
house producers hit us up.
Yeah, remixes. We need remixes.
We need remixes to dig us out of this hole.
Yeah. No, I give you my word. I'm 100% going to keep spinning your stuff on the show and checking in with you guys, and you're welcome anytime you want to come back and promote some new material or whatever's going on.
We will see you when we see you, man.
Do not hesitate. So as I said to you off air, we'll finish up the show with our Throwback Thursday track of the week. But there's the last song of yours that I want to play is the title track, Equinox. How and why did this become the title track of the EP? Was it like the rest of the project was named after it, or how did that work?
I think we came up with the name at the same time we finished that track. We were like, let's name it that. That's a pretty good track. That's a pretty good track name. But also we're just like, yeah, we need a fast one, man. This is going to be the energy one. Like right. we had all the ones, like, so we had like the kind of, all of them are like a moderate fast kind of tempo, and then we have a kind of slowish one. And then we wanted 160 BPM, mate. We need a good one. And that just came out of just jamming. I did something. I was like, oh wait, what was that? Like my hands just played the thing. I was like, then it kept going with it.
You were just in pilot mode and just
That just like skyrocketed from there.
If you hear Alex Blake on guitar on this track as well, the rhythm is fast.
Yeah, it's
a lot.
I like that. I can listen to it now with these things particularly in mind. As you guys telling me. No, I love this track. It's incredible. Thanks again for coming down, guys. Let's get into this, and then a little bit more right after.
Cheers.